So let me see if I can get my thoughts out on this Trump versus the Squad, Ilhan Omar, AOC controversy. Everybody's, I don't have to summarize it, so if you're listening to this, you probably already know. So just wanted to sort of give you my thoughts on it for anyone who might care. But the as someone who wants who leans conservative, who wants a conservative form of government, Trump represents a change in strategy, a change in what we have seen as long as I've been following politics, which is since sophomore of high school. So probably like since 1992, I've been paying attention to politics, and Trump is a change because anytime Republicans have ever gotten any sort of power, whether that would be the presidency or the Congress, there seemed to be some sort of impotency that would take place. All of a sudden, there was all these other things, these nuances to consider. What I sort of noticed was, and I think this will be important to sort of understand this issue, that when it was election time, Republicans would run to the right, and then if they got in, they would be centrists in how they governed. Whereas people on the left, the Democrats, would run to the left. They would run to the center when it came to election time, and then they would govern to the left. So what ended up happening was center left as far as governance was concerned. The Republicans always having some issue, some reason why they weren't actually able to accomplish the thing that they were elected to accomplish. Year after year, or election after election, we see this. In contrast to this, as an example, when Obama got in, they went right after the healthcare system, which was 1/3 of the economy, and if you're a socialist and you want the government and the very special elect people who are much better than the rest of the commoners to be in charge of things and make all the decisions for us common folk, then holding us hostage by our very health is a really nice mechanism to accomplish that. So anyone like me who's paid attention to politics knew that was their goal, or knew that's one of their goals, a nice strategy to do. That's actually what most socialist governments do. So it made all the sense in the world that they would do that once they have power. Whereas when the Republicans have power, it's been this really difficult situation to try to get rid of it. In fact, you could still get online and do the AHC, the Affordable Health Care, healthcare.gov, and all that stuff. So, but here's one of the things that, in regards to the controversy, there's two ways of looking at it. Either Trump made a mistake, because before Trump spoke his tweet, there was a divide between Pelosi and these four candidates. Pelosi is in a situation because the momentum of the party seems to be toward these four rebellious, for these, however you want to describe what these four individuals believe. Let me just say this, they're not alone. Most of the candidates for president are saying very much the same things. Here's what I think is important to understand about this. This truly is what the Democrats stand for, even Pelosi. The difference is that the divide isn't what they want to do. They all share the same goals, The divide is how open they are about doing it. The Pelosi faction disagrees with the AOC Ilhan Omar faction only in that they wish they were not as honest about what they believe. The trick to socialism is it's that whole boiling the frog scenario. You don't want to really explain what you're for. You want to say you're for other things. You know, you don't want to say, hey, we want to control your health care. You say, we hate the insurance companies and the insurance companies are abusing you. You know, you always find that avenue, that presentation, that optics that you use. And the mistake in the Pelosi people's mind is that these four are just outright explaining what they want to do. I mean, get rid of fossil fuels, get rid of cows, get rid of, free college for everybody, free health care, free this, free that. Nothing's free in life. You're going to pay for it one way or the other. But did Trump make a mistake? Many on the right say that he did because there was this divide between the Democrats and he messed that up. You know, why do you want to get into the middle when your enemies are fighting each other? Why would you want to get into the middle of it? I guess that's a point of getting over a cough. I guess that's a point of view. I actually don't share that. I think what Trump did was what Trump always does, which is to be forceful and direct. And it has its advantages. And in this case, I think the advantage is this. And I think Trump knew this when he said it. The divide between the two was actually providing cover for the two. Pelosi was able to seem like a moderate. And the radicals were able to seem like outliers to the Democrat Party. Remember what I said, and you can take this is just my opinion, but I stand by it as I think it's true. The Democrats all want what these four want. It's just a matter of whether you tell the people that that's what you're up to. So that provided cover for them. And what Trump did is he brought the two back together. So what happened is that now Pelosi and everybody else has to come out and they instantly defend the people that they were once saying were, they're a little crazy over there. Well, they're not so crazy anymore all of a sudden. So what happened is this, and this is the brilliance of it. What happened was this, is that now the whole Democratic Party now has to be linked closely with everything these people stand for, everything AOC and Ilhan Omar stands for. What's illustrative about this whole situation for the common person, what we should be seeing out of this is not necessarily just this strategy and the stuff I just talked about, the politics of it, but the manipulation behind it, the position that we find ourselves in. I would analogize this to the Republicans and the Democrats are in a dogfighting ring. The Republican dog, though, looks around and goes, somebody's causing this. Who's causing us to fight one another? The Democrat dog just wants to fight. But the Republican dog is seeing somebody throw red meat into the ring for us to scrap over, right? And they're going, well, aren't they the one causing this? And see, the one throwing that meat in is the media. They're fueling that fight between the Republicans and the Democrats. The trick of this whole thing is that the government and the media are together to a great extent, the establishment. And what Trump represents is somebody outside of the establishment. So the establishment and the media are together in getting us to fight one another, the citizens, over whether you're a Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, all this other stuff, while they attain more and more power. It's a divide and conquer strategy. Whereas the Republicans the Republican voters are much smarter than the Democrat voters. Fact. That's a fact to my mind. Because the Democrat voter is so keen on being led by who's victimizing who. This is why they play this whole victim stuff. And right now it's the race card. Trump's a racist. And this brings up sort of this, what's illustrative about this and what should be able to be seen by most people is the media didn't care one lick when these four people was saying the most heinous, nasty stuff. They could care less. You had to get that information from AM radio and the internet. Some places, some little bites here and there on Fox News, maybe. Nobody cared about this decorum, this, all of a sudden we care about racism now. You ever notice it only goes one direction? So Trump is white. He's a target now for being a racist. But these women of color, they can't possibly be racist. That's the narrative that's being set. By definition, that's not true. It's obviously not true. It could be true in this specifics. Maybe Trump's a racist and maybe these four are not. But the pattern and the narrative is set demographically to say whites can be racist and nobody else can be. Because the point is that what these people are doing is what's going on in this country, which is to say white men are the problem in this country. Well, how is that not racist? If you listen to what these four people are saying, it does have racist. They're far more racist overtones than what they say. It's violent at talk. It's destructive, culturally cannibalistic talk that they're doing. And when Trump calls them out and says, go home, people lose their minds. So Ilhan Omar can say 9/11 was just some people doing something because she's a Muslim and she doesn't want to say, she's excusing Islam. She wants to excuse Islam and then she wants to point the finger at the white man and say it's the white man's fault. You ever see how that's done? Where, we can excuse the Muslim extremist violence because of economic issues or, the oppression of the overseas forces like that the United States is bearing on these countries and sort of nonsense like this. Not her own religion, which says to basically to take the whole world captive for Allah. So, so she can say, 911, some people did something, but let someone tweet something, everybody, they lose their mind. It's just this weird bias. It's unequal weights and measures that's going on here. So this is the point. Notice who the media sides with here. Notice when they get triggered, when the media gets triggered. Why are they being triggered this way? It's because they're trying to get the left fired up to fight the right. And I'm talking about the citizens. They want us fighting each other so that they can sit there and attain all this power. They get to tell you, your neighbor, look at that neighbor over there. They're against you. They're trying to, they want what you have, or the position, the reason you can't succeed, it's their fault. That's their whole message. We need to stop this whole stuff and see this is all a game they're playing on us. This is good cop, bad cop. They put us all in jail. They don't care about us. The good cop, whatever side you think that cop is, for you, whether you're on the left or the right, they're together. And Trump represents someone on the outside who's not playing that game. That's why the media hates Trump. Think about everything they stand for. The left says that they are against separation. They want separation of church and state, and they're for gays and they're for women. And then they support Islam. They say, I forgot what I was going to say. But it's crazy. I mean, to me, it's so transparent how this works. And I don't understand why everybody can't see that they're not for you. You know, they say they're for the little guy. They say they're for the minority, all the little communities that can't get themselves corrected. And they say the rich man's to blame. Well, to some extent, that's true. I mean, the way the economic system works. But the mechanism that keeps rich people in charge and in power is the government. You ever notice that all the media pushes to the left? You think poor people own those companies? The left who talks about the 1% are the 1%. This is the whole game. And so for anyone on the left, anyone who leans on the left, tell me how I'm wrong about this. Meanwhile, the media, controlled by the 1%, Hollywood, controlled by the 1%, feeding you red meat, pointing at that other dog in a ring and saying, that's your enemy, all the while collecting that cash, watching us fight each other. Trump isn't playing that game. That's why people like Kanye sees this stuff. Trump's making inroads. Trump wasn't a racist until he ran as a Republican. Come on, the guy's been in public life forever. He was never a racist. When did this come up? He was given contracts for NBC. He was hosting pageants. They were doing that for a racist? They all knew it was a racist? Everything the left says is what they do. I did a video on this before where they project everything they say. Trump isn't colluding with Russia. That was Hillary. Hillary did that. Everything they say, if you're on the left and you're watching this, stop it. You're getting fooled. It's crazy. You're fighting your neighbors and your family. And just like these people are fighting in front of us as an example. And the reason why they go after Trump is he's I don't even know what you call it. He's breaking the whole paradigm that's been set up forever since I've been watching. I didn't like Trump at first. Hell, I love him now. I think it's great. So hopefully this made some sense. Hopefully people will watch it and maybe get some comments and maybe change some minds. So